Whenever we think about vital points, one of the strongest attractions to this mythic idea is that there are areas on the body that are so vulnerable that when we hit them, we can either incapacitate, immobilize, or knock an individual out effortlessly. And so normally when we think of vital points, we think of weaknesses in the structure, normally at a neurological level, like some magic button that we press and the person knocks out. But if we are to look at this idea of knocking someone out, truly the most effective way to shut somebody down is to just get that brain to stop temporarily, to overload it, make the system shut down. And the most effective way to do that is really not about the nervous system itself, but rather about the biomechanics of the body. But really, when we look at knocking somebody out, this idea that you can be so precise and you can get any of these points is really low probability. The majority of the time that I've struck somebody and knocked them out when I was working the door was from a prone position, wherein I was talking to somebody in an interview distance and I drilled them before they were able to move. And we'll talk about preemptive striking a little bit later. I know it's sacrilegious to a lot of people, but it is really a fundamental strategy in effective self-defense. And we'll talk about the legalities of it a bit later on as well. The main way that I knock somebody out has never been about affecting some nerve in a very specific way. When I see people talking about hitting this nerve with a particular knuckle on a 45-degree angle down to the jaw, again guys, this may work in a one-on-one compliant demo when you're fully relaxed and trusting. I hit it and you might get a little eye flutter. But the minute we start boxing, I start moving, even if I didn't have a glove on and I drill you there, it's not the effect of the mental nerve that's going to drop you. What is going to drop you is any motion that will cause your brain to catastrophically smash into the side of the skull. This is the most reliable way to knock somebody out. So I often think of the brain like the family dog in the back seat of the car. If we jam on the brakes suddenly, that dog is going to come whipping into the windshield, may hit me on the back of the head and kill me on the way there. That's what we want our brain to do. We want it to be the family Doberman hitting into the windshield when we hit the brakes. That's fundamentally what we're looking to do. So motions that go straight into the skull and cause the head to retract like this may possibly knock somebody out if the motion is sudden enough and hard enough. But if you really look at how much the head retracts, there's not a lot of motion, which means the brain is going to jut in a little bit to the windshield or to the forehead in this case, but it's not going to do so very powerfully. By comparison, if I was to look at something that would cause the head to rotate, to snap on a lateral line, that's what's referred to as a rotational concussion. So hits that cause the head to move in a drastic circular manner are going to cause a more rapid and a more explosive collision of the brain into the skull. And that's really the easiest way to get a knockout. I can likewise get it from let's say an uppercut with an elbow or a palm or a fist, and we'll look at that a little bit later, because when I snap that chin up, again, when the head goes back drastically, the brain goes into the forehead in this case and smashes in, causes an overload, and gives you a temporary knockout. So, where am I looking to hit primarily? If I had a choice between an uppercut and something hooking or straight, I'm usually going to look for the jawline. Fundamentally, anywhere on the jaw, from the base of the ear to the point of the chin, is going to be great. Obviously, the further down the chin I go, the more leverage I have. So if I was to keep my neck, and you can do this on yourself, extremely rigid, and I push into the jaw, you see there's not a lot of leverage. There's not a lot of mechanical effect on the neck. But as I slide it down closer to the chin, I get more and more leverage the further down the lever of the jaw I go, and then the more it wants to move. And this is not a fixed lever. Keep in mind, when you hit the chin, the tip of the chin, the opposite side of the jaw will pop out. So a very simple drill is to take your index finger, touch the base of your jaw on the far side, and tap here. And you see when I'm looking, I see three Kevins when I look at the feedback screen for a temporary second, right? And then if I move closer up the jaw towards the base of the ear as I hit, I still get a shake. My jaw's still moving laterally, but it's lesser than when I'm down here. Down at the base of the jaw, the so-called button in boxing is really going to cause the largest rotation. When I hit closer to the mandibular angle, what's happening is the jaw is oftentimes jutting out. And this joint here is a major cause of concussions. Even if I hit straight in, normally what's happening, it's not the movement of the head causing the brain to move, but rather the collision and the impacting of the jaw on this nerve center that will cause a knockout. So punches straight on can work, but fundamentally anywhere on the jaw is going to be your primary knockout. If I see somebody teaching, particular knuckle to the mental nerve, again, could work within a very compliant, safe seminar setting. But I've been in front of somebody, guys, who's trying to take your head off. You're getting into a heated exchange. You're trying to diffuse or at least position yourself tactically in the best possible spot, and then it's time to hit. And I can tell you, in every situation that I've been in, I've never once, despite all of my training, despite all of my success doing these little micro pressure points in ideal environments, I have never once in my life felt compelled or felt enough trust in those kind of ideas to even try them.